Once again, thank you all for being here. It's a pleasure to be and an honor to be introducing the third annual Women's History Celebration in our historic Perth Amboy Free Public Library. Let's give a round of applause to this wonderful event that helps to acknowledge all the women in our city to continuously improve our community. My name is Joel Rosa. For those who don't know me, I am the library director of this great library. I don't want to speak so much because we're here to talk about the wonderful women. And as much as I like to speak on each individual, we have our wonderful president of the Library Board of Trustees here, Ms. Rosalie Murillo, who would like to say some brief introductions. It's because of her and the Library Board of Trustees that are here today that we have these wonderful events. So let's give a round of applause. So a round of applause to Ms. Rosalie Murillo.
It's a little long, but I'm gonna try to fast. So good afternoon, everyone, and a warm welcome to our third annual Women's History Month celebration. He took that applause from me, so you guys can still applause again. I'm Rosie Morillo, the president of the Library Board of Trustees, and I am thrilled to see so many of you here today in this rain, so I appreciate you guys trucking it out of here. But as we honor the remarkable women who have contributed so much to the city of Perth Amboy. First and foremost, I want to express my gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us on this celebration. Your presence today is a testament to the importance of recognizing and honoring women's achievements in our community. I would like to extend a special thank you to Honorable Mayor Cava and the administration for their unwavering support of this event. Their dedication to promoting and celebrating women's accomplishments is commendable. And to my fellow board members who have continuously inspired me since our journey began together, it's worth noting that our board stands uniquely as the only all-woman board in the city, which is truly remarkable. And of course, I cannot forget the incredible library staff who has worked tirelessly to make today's event possible. Their hard work and dedication have truly made a difference, not only with this event, but with the transformation of this library. So as we gather today to celebrate Women's History Month, I'm reminded of the countless women who have paved the way for progress and change and inspired us to be the best that we can be. We all have women that we look up to and who inspire us, and mine is my grandmother, Lydia Cruz. Throughout my life, I've been told stories of my grandmother's remarkable impact in our community in Perth Amboy. She's known for her unwavering dedication and tenacity. Most people often described her as a tough cookie. Till this day, I love hearing stories from people in the community about how she touched their lives. And my favorite story was when she made an entire presentation to the Board of Education entirely in Spanish, just to show them the importance of supporting bilingual students in the classroom. I guess she really was a tough cookie. And her life inspired me, highlighting the importance of unwavering convictions and the love for one's community. And all these qualities resonate in today's celebrated panelists. So let us give them a round of applause for being here, and let us continue to share our stories and achievements to inspire the next generation of women in Perth Amboy. So now I would like to invite Mayor Cava to say a few words.
Thank you, Rosalie. Let's give it up to the board president. You're doing a phenomenal job along with everyone else. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here in this special occasion for the third annual Women's History Month celebration. I also want to thank, once again, our Library Board of Trustees. With them, the library director, Joel Rosa, and the entire library staff, they are doing a phenomenal job with this library. And this library is a true reflection of our city. It's historic, just like our city. And what we're doing is, in the city of Perth Amboy, just like in this library, we're embracing and we are preserving that history, but also embracing the future. And that's why I'm really looking forward to the continuing changes with this library. We're going to be adding more digital equipment in this library, right? And that's what I mean about embracing the future. Also, the goal is to get more of our youth to come here and participate in this library. And once again, the library board, along with the administration, the staff here in the library, we're all working together to make sure that happens. And for me, it's an honor to be here with these dynamic women. I know each of them personally and what they have been doing throughout this, their years here in the city of Perth Amboy, and we're sure that you're going to continue to do it. It's just amazing. And that's why for me it's an honor to present a mayoral citation to each and every one of you in honor of the 3rd annual Women's History Month celebration, and to express our deep appreciation for your years of dedicated service to our beautiful city of Perth Amboy. So thank you to each and every one of you. We are blessed to have you, and we celebrate you. And we're looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you here. And this mayoral citation, after you all speak, will be presented to you. So thank you all. God bless you all.
My name is Iris Alicia. I'm the Vice President of the Board of Trustees here at the library. It's an honor to be here today in all of your presence. It's an honor that each and every one of you were nominated by the community to be here, sitting here today. So that says a lot about what the community thinks about each of you. So I'm doing some quick bios, and we're going to start in the order of how they are seated. You can wave hello when they mention your name. I'm sure everyone already knows, but we're still going to introduce Haley Cruz. She's a dedicated leader, advocate, and educator known for her commitment to service and community engagement. As a school counselor, she offers crucial support to students navigating adolescence with a caseload exceeding 480 students between grades 4 through 8. Haley's history-making role as the youngest council member in our town underscores her tireless advocacy for residents, businesses, and departments, showcasing her dedication to making a positive impact through government representation. Beyond her civic and educational contributions, Haley's passion for empowering adult learners through ESL instruction reflects her commitment to fostering inclusivity and supporting her diverse community. Welcome. Next, let's meet Betty Cruz. A devoted Perth Amboy resident for over 5 decades, actively engaged in community service since retiring from PSE&G 20 years ago. With leadership roles in the March of Dimes events and a steadfast commitment to the Royal Garden Club, Betty's love for enhancing her city's beauty is evident. Her involvement in various community initiatives, including managing the flower gardens and supporting St. Peter's Food Pantry, showcases her dedication to making a positive impact in the city of Perth Amboy. Thank you. Next, we'll meet Megan Odayela. She holds the position of the Assistant Corporate Counsel for the City of Newark, overseeing the contracts and legislative sections. Alongside her legal role, Megan is deeply involved in the city of Perth Amboy. She serves on both the Zoning Board of Adjustment and the School Board. A graduate of Rutgers University and Rutgers School of Law, Megan's entrepreneurial drive and commitment to community service are evident through her involvement in various boards and her dedication to always giving back. Next, we have Solani Peña, or Soli. And if many of you don't know her, you know her artwork. It's all over town. She's a Dominican artist born and raised in Perth Amboy. She serves as the chairperson for the Perth Amboy Arts Council, coordinating art programs and teaching the Perth Amboy Gallery Center for the Arts for over 5 years. With a passion for portraiture and a focus of powerful expression, Soli has created artwork for over 300 clients since 2017. Specializing in meaningful portraits of loved ones. As a muralist, Soli has transformed spaces across the city of Perth Amboy with large-scale work of art. Collaborating with organizations like the City of Perth Amboy and the Boys and Girls Club to bring her creative visions to life. And lastly, we have Sergeant Sandra Rivera. Sergeant Sandra Rivera is a law enforcement journey began as a 911 telecommunicator, eventually leading her to the historic promotion to the rank of sergeant in 2016, making her the very first Hispanic female to achieve this within the City of Perth Amboy's Police Department. Throughout her career, Rivera has demonstrated dedication and resilience, thriving in various roles, including a significant tenure in the Criminal Investigations Division. Beyond her exemplary service, Rivera's commitment to her community is evident through her involvement in social causes and her pursuit of personal growth, exemplified by her enrollment in carpentry pre-apprenticeship program. We thank each and every one of you women for being here today and for everything that you do for our town.
So we're just going to go right into it. To let the panelists know, I'm going to ask questions. I will refer to you by name, and then you answer it as best as you can. So we'll start with Megan. And what inspired you to pursue your chosen field or career path?
Good afternoon, everyone. So I have a little bit of an interesting story because I decided at the age of 15 that I wanted to be an attorney, and I guess I accomplished that dream. But I think I had some things going on at home, and I was like, the justice system. I want to work, I want to be an attorney, and I want to do these things, and I want to change things. And so that was kind of the beginning of it. And so as I was walking through, I did moot court when I was in high school. When I was in college, the entire time, I was like, I want to go to law school. And then when I finished college, I hadn't done enough preparation. So I had to take 2 years off of school to take the LSAT, to get everything ready. And my family actually doubted me. I remember one time my sister and my mother looked at me and they're like, are you actually going to do this? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. It might take me a little bit of time, but I'm going to do it. So after 2 years of a gap, I went back to law school, and when I first started, I thought I was going to be in juvenile justice. I cannot say that I am as far away from that as possible, but I've had different experiences through different types of things, and so that just led me to where I am today.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to ask Sergeant Rivera the same question. And to repeat the question is, what inspired you to pursue your chosen field or career?
Wow, that's a good question. So I'm born and raised in Perth Amboy. My parents came from Guam, Puerto Rico, and when they came to Perth Amboy, we resided in the Stockton building. They worked really hard. My father was in the Army during World War II. My mom was a homemaker and a seamstress, and they together raised 18 children. Yeah. So when they purchased their first home on Charles Street, growing up in that area, you see a lot. I won't say negative, I'm going to say seedy, but there's also a lot of beauty and resilience that I grew up seeing. And when you grow up seeing those things, it impacts you in a way where you learn to be empathetic. You understand why people do the things that they do, the mistakes that they make. That they make people say, Perth Amboy has a lot of bad people. There's a lot of really good people, and there's some people that make bad decisions. So coming from a family where my mother and father are very, very loving people, and they instilled a lot of values in us. And I have so many great brothers and sisters, families, friends, my fiance. Without them, I can't be where I'm at, and I'm so impacted by everyone around me. So all the things that I saw, inspired me to be where I am. So I do care about a lot of things greatly because I'm from here. So I serve as a person who lives here, was brought up here, lifelong, and my dedication comes from how I was brought up and where I was brought up.
Yeah. So Solange, what challenges did you face along the way, and how did you overcome them?
What challenges?
Yeah, any challenge.
All right. So I guess for me, being an artist is one of those careers, I guess, where it's a little hard to have stability, I guess, like financial stability. So I'm kind of, even just now, like I'm kind of working towards that. So it's just like, I guess, like I sacrifice a lot of like time with like loved ones, or like a lot of times to just like relax, because I'm working 2 jobs, like, you know, my full-time, but then also trying to work like towards being a full-time artist. And then also like all these other things that I'm trying to do, like the Arts Council, and then, you know, just like art in Perth Amboy. So I guess just like having like this, like I guess schedule of like trying to create a schedule of time to myself and then time for like other people, but then also trying to pursue, I guess, my passion. So that's definitely a challenge I've been dealing with lately. Like definitely like time management and just like, I guess like, you know, like that self-care, but also wanting to do what you want to do, like, you know, to pursue your passion. So I would say like that's one of my challenges, especially right now. But yeah.
And how have you overcome them? Or are you still overcoming?
It's a process, so I'm still kind of like working towards how to overcome that. Like, you know, it's definitely hard to, like, it's that type of thing that I feel guilt when I have time for myself or when I try to relax. Like, you know, maybe I should be working on X, Y, and Z right now instead of relaxing. But then it's that type of thing that if I, you know, have time for myself, then it's just like, when am I gonna finish whatever I'm working on, or, you know, so it's just like that time management and just that scheduling, but also wanting to pursue a passion that is a little harder than, you know, it's a little harder to find, like, I guess, like financial stability. And so, yeah, it's just, I'm still in the process of it, so I don't really have, like, you know, a set solution yet.
So Haley, were there any sacrifices you had to make in order to achieve your goals?
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for that question. Thank you as well to the Board of Trustees, the library, as the mayor has mentioned, the director as well, the volunteers. I know the volunteers work so hard, effortlessly. And of course, shout out to the volunteers as well, in addition to the board. And of course, everyone for being here despite the crazy weather, right? So can you repeat the question?
Yes. Were there any sacrifices you had to make to achieve your goals?
Yes. So my first actual position straight out of college was going to China. I was born and raised in Perth Amboy. I love Perth Amboy. And Kean University gave me an opportunity to teach overseas in China to first grade. We were running a pilot program. So sacrifices was I just started dating my now husband before we just started a dating process. So he came back from the military. He served in the army. So then we had to deal with that long distance barrier. And I had to make that sacrifice in my relationship, since I knew it was temporary for 1 year, to say, you know what? We'll come back to this. We're young. We're a few months in. So I had to sacrifice my relationship. I'm my mom's only daughter. So for her, my mom's right there. She was a hot mess. Shout out to mom and my aunt. So sacrificing your relationship, your family, your friends, knowing that it's only a year, you'll be back. And I knew that that was just the beginning of the career. So I knew that the sacrifice was worth it, because if Kean University gave me that opportunity to pilot test that program with first grade students and teach overseas and go to the unknown. I never did study abroad. So that was my first time ever going outside of the country and pursuing that dream of mine for teaching. So that was one of my major sacrifices, but also one of my accomplishments as a young student, fresh out of college.
Haley, what about any sacrifices now that you're a
Sure.
councilwoman?
So Solange, you mentioned a great point. Right now, I do feel that guilt as well. I'm trying to balance being a school counselor, also being a public servant, and also pursuing my doctorates. So sometimes you have to make sure that you're giving each and every role 100%, so that way you're giving your best to your students. You're giving your best to the community. You're giving your best to the parents. But I think once you once you're passionate and you do everything that with your heart and you do everything, I'm a faithful woman too. I'm a faithful woman of God. So I think anytime that you put God first, you're able to really push through those sacrifices. And sometimes it may be not attending an event. Something as simple as that, we don't really speak of, you know, not attending things temporarily to best service the community or to attend the event or to support somebody. So I think those are one of the main sacrifices. More time management, and I think for the youth looking to be involved, whether it's in government, whether it's in education, knowing that sometimes you're going to have to make sacrifices, but ultimately it's to service those who you love and those who you're passionate about. When you're passionate, you never work a day in your life.
Thank you. So this question's for Betty. How do you think your background and upbringing influenced your accomplishments?
Well, when I was a little girl, I'm from Pennsylvania, and I was a country girl, and we had a lot of, outdoors things. So I guess that's where I got my love for gardening. And I must say, it just fulfills my life. When I'm in the garden, I don't have a care in the world, and I'm at peace. And not only are we helping to make the city beautiful, it's just wonderful therapy. And over the years, I have met so many wonderful people. I have such good friends. When I first moved to Perth Amboy, all I did was go to work and come home. And now my life is fulfilled. I've learned so much about Perth Amboy by just being out there working with the flowers and joining the different organizations, the civic trustees. I've learned so much about how the city runs and the problems of the city. So I just see by volunteering, it not only gives me a great sense of being, but you learn so much about what you can do to help your community. And that's been my life since I retired. And I've been doing it for over 20-some years, and I'm just thankful that I'm able to do it. I'm not a young spring chicken anymore, so I can't do everything that I used to do, but I'm still out there as much as I can be. And it's just a good feeling. It's a great feeling. So I say to anybody that wants to learn about Perth Amboy and to make Perth Amboy a better place, get out there and get involved. And it's just a great thing to do. So that's my thoughts for you today.
Thank you, Betty. Betty, could you talk to us about the Royal Garden Club and your role in it?
Yes, the Royal Garden Club. We have, actually now we have 14 gardens because we just installed a garden at the firehouse. It's a little area in front of the building just to give the guys something to look at when they walk in the building. So we have 14 gardens all throughout Perth Amboy. And a week ago, we planted 11 trees down at the waterfront at the marina. And trees are so important because it helps the environment. It helps you to breathe. It helps to clean the air. And it would just be so nice if we could get all our trees in shape and just keep them that way. But gardening is I don't know, it's a passion with me, and it's just a wonderful thing. And I would say to anyone that if you just go outside and walk around and smell the flowers, you'll feel better.
Thank you, Betty. So Megan, what advice would you give to young women that aspire to follow in your footsteps?
I would tell young women that they should never give up, no matter what happens. There's a lot of challenges that we face as women. We face, having to be the ones to break the glass ceiling or having to be the ones to be the first to do something. And sometimes I look at it and it's like, it's crazy. We're in 2024 and we're still having to be the first, right? But I can't always say that it gets easier, but it'll become more normalized, right? Being a woman in your profession, being a woman doing whatever you want to do, and it doesn't matter what you want to do, right? If you want to be a stay-at-home mom, or if you want to be a career woman, you can choose whatever it is that you want to do, and you should just be the best person that you can be in any situation that you're in.
Thank you. And Haley, you're going to have the same question. Is what advice would you give to young women that aspire to follow your footsteps?
The advice I would give to young women is love yourself. Working as a school counselor, I see a lot of students in the mental health field, and sometimes, body image is one thing, whether it's not looking like how they see certain celebrities on social media. That's a lot what I'm seeing now. I'm like, listen, some of those are filtered. So don't filter who you are. Don't sacrifice who you are to adapt to the peer pressures of society. So I think beyond getting into your career, you have to love yourself starting at a young age, because body image, mental health, all those barriers are starting a lot younger now than we were even in school. I'm seeing that starting in 3rd and 2nd grade. So making sure that you love yourself, you practice self-care, positive affirmations. And then in addition to that, make your way and find your way. Sometimes, as you said, a lot of women are still the first, but you have to make your way and find your way. Like right now I am studying for my doctorates, and although majority of us are women, when you look at those in educational leadership, how many women are superintendents? So we're gonna have to keep breaking barriers until we finally get to where we should be, right? Equity, but it's gonna take a long route, but believe in yourself, love yourself, and as you mentioned, as you see this diverse board here, we all have different talents and paths, which we give back to the community in our different ways. So I think following your passion, not having to choose a passion that you know is not for you. So digging deep into yourself. Once you love yourself, you know yourself. For young students looking at college and career inventories to see which path you want, go that way, break the barriers, and whatever technology resources you need, or if you need college and career tours at the school, looking for what resources you need to attain that goal. And some of the young girls, I know they want to be lash techs or anything of that nature. There's also resources in that areas where you can get certified. So I think sticking to who you are and never letting that go.
Thank you. This question is for Sergeant Rivera. Have you encountered any instance of discrimination or bias in your career, and how did you handle it?
So I actually went to a conference in Nashville a few years ago, and it was actually a pretty sad situation because it was a room full of men. It was for the union that I'm in, and there was hundreds of people, and another supervisor and I sat down, a female, and she's also Latina. And we sat down at a table, and I said hello to everyone, and no one responded. It was crickets. It was about 6 men, and they said nothing. And I looked at my coworker, and I said, is that because we're women, or is it because we're Hispanic? I said, okay, well, you guys missed out, because I think I'm a pretty cool chick. So, and I approached it with humor. I tried to be graceful sometimes when I don't understand where people are coming from, or I dislike maybe what they're thinking or feeling, but sometimes you can't control how you feel, right, or how things upset you or make you feel, but what you can control is how you respond to it. So that's how I handled that, and most uncomfortable situations that happen in general.
That's great. Thank you. So, Solange, what role do you believe women play in the future of Perth Amboy?
What role do women play in the future of Perth Amboy?
Yeah, or in shaping the future of Perth Amboy.
So I definitely do want to piggyback off of just, there still is a lot of firsts. And definitely, I want to say, I feel like this year we've had, how do I say this? It's definitely been, we've been having, a lot of, influential women on, different boards and everything, and with, just, passionate women. So I feel moving forward, it's definitely, we were expecting, something bright. like with the Arts Council, there's a lot of women on the board for the Arts Council, and it's just like a lot of like these women are passionate for what they're doing, like towards what they're doing. We've coordinated all these events, like my murals, working on murals and stuff, just like doing things that I don't know, that's not really, you're normally expecting the men to kind of do not the heavy lifting, but but I definitely do feel moving forward, we're expecting just a brighter future. We've had a lot of passionate women coming out and just saying, I could do this myself too. And just, yeah, I'm supposed to say that. I'm sorry, if I'm not the best at public speaking. I'm a little nervous.
You're an artist. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm just doing the hands-on stuff. I'm not really talking that much. But
So this question is going to be for Haley. Can you share a moment where you felt discouraged or doubted yourself, and how did you handle it?
Yes. So when I first applied to actually, this was just in the education field, when I first applied to be a school counselor, it was more, I wouldn't say discrimination, but everywhere I went, it's oh, you don't have experience. So having people sometimes not knowing your worth or not seeing your worth because you're fresh out of school. So those were a lot of barriers that I had to go through and just improve myself. Okay, although I may be young, although I may be fresh out of school, I'm passionate. I have great role models from the high school that I'm able to lean on. So I think that was just one of my main experiences. And then now I would say with school also, being one of the youngest in my doctorate, it becomes very difficult because there's a lot of questions being asked, but you have to just remain humble and support each other. I think we're in a world where we just want to be divided. For youth as well, we're at a generation where we just want to be divided. So I think I do see that as well in my career sometimes with division, but we have to stand together, and I think that's one thing I love about my field as a school counselor, my field in city council. We stick together, we get through situations, although we might have different opinions, different viewpoints. I think the more you stick together, the more we can overcome a lot.
Thank you. And this question will also go for Megan, and I'll repeat it. Can you share a moment where you felt discouraged or doubted yourself, and how did you overcome it? Yes.
Okay, so when I first got out of law school, so before you get out of law school, you look for your job, right, post-law school. And I remember a lot of my friends were doing clerkships. And I think I had applied to maybe 5 clerkships, but I really wasn't interested in clerking. And I remember sitting down with Career Services, and the Career Services told me, she was like, I was like, I haven't gotten a clerkship, but I don't think I'm really interested in it. She was like, it's okay to be disappointed. And I was like, but I'm not disappointed because I actually don't want to do this. I want to do something else. I want to do intellectual property. So when I graduated, I didn't have a job. I took the bar. And then I think maybe the first week of September, I had gotten what I thought would be my dream job, right? So I started working for this boutique firm, and, I just had a very hard time. And me and my boss, we didn't see eye to eye. She had said some things about me and about the way I was handling the profession, and it made me feel like, maybe I shouldn't be a lawyer. And so I eventually left the practice, and I left the practice of law. And I wasn't going to continue to be a lawyer. I remember always saying to people I'm going to keep my license, but I don't really think I'm going to practice law. And slowly and surely, and some people would come to me and, they would ask me for my services, and I would do little things here and there. And then I began running a trucking company. So I ran a trucking company for about 3 years or so. And finally last year, I was like, okay, I think I'm confident enough. I was still doing cases here and there. Thank you to Joel Rosa. I applied for the zoning board, and he called me and he's like, you definitely need to do it. You definitely need to go in front of city council and interview. And so I slowly started to get my feet wet into government. And I remember seeing an assistant corporation counsel position open up in the city of Newark, and I applied for it. And I think it's actually, funny enough, today, 1 year ago, I had my interview with the city of Newark, and I started working there in July, and it has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. I remember when I was in school, people would, talk about public interest and working in government. I'd be like, that could never be me. That is something I would never do. And look at me, I'm on the zoning board, I'm on the Board of Education, I'm working for the city of Newark. And it has been a bright spot for me, right? Understanding the law, understanding how things work, how things play out. If I had let that discouragement take me down back in 2017, I wouldn't be where I am today. But you still have to believe in yourself. You still have to know that like Haley said, you have to know what it is you want out of this life. So when you figure out what you want and you start going in the direction, things are gonna come. There's gonna be bad days. There's always gonna be bad days. But you have to take the bad with the good and the good with the bad, and know that even though there are some bad spots, there's still gonna be bright spots as long as you continue to persevere.
Thank you. So this question's for Betty. And what initiative or project are you currently working on to improve Perth Amboy?
Well, every spring, we start our gardens. And hopefully in another week or so, we'll be out there cleaning and mulching. We spread over 400 bags of mulch in the spring season. And it's mostly women, and we have a few guys, but it's mostly women. And so we'll start with the mulching, and then we, say in May, we'll start planting. And we get tons and tons of flowers. I mean, it's overwhelming. But through the month of May and into the early part of June, we'll be out there planting flowers every Saturday. And we also have a vegetable garden that we supply vegetables to the Peters Pantry, food pantry. So we work on the vegetable garden too, and all the fresh vegetables go to the pantry. You might not think gardening is exciting, but it is, and it's so helpful. And to make Perth Amboy beautiful, it's just a joy. And so we'll be out there, and anybody that wants to come and join us, you're welcome. We can always use the hands. But I'm very grateful that I'm able to do that, and it's a wonderful thing. And volunteering in itself is a wonderful thing. So, I mean, it gives you such a spirit of mind, and you know you're doing something to help others. And I also work at the food pantry, and that's another great experience. I mean, it's just a good thing. So I have filled my life with that, and I'm very happy with it.
Thank you, Betty. The same question will go for Solange. What initiatives or projects are you currently working on that are going to better Perth Amboy?
So at the moment, I'm actually currently working on trying to open up a non-profit for art. And I'm not going to speak too much on it, but I do want to start it in my town. And the basis of the project would be to work on kind of just run, I would say a little worn down areas, putting public artwork in those areas, murals, maybe have applying to grants that'll pay for prepping the area, but also replacing it with let's say a mural or an art installation, and just kind of beautifying that area. So I'm kind of working on that at the moment. I'm not really going to talk more about it, but of course I would want to start it in my town, and then continue working with the city in terms of kind of just expanding that. So of course continue working with the Arts Council, the rec department, departments like that to continue. But yeah.
Thank you. This question will go for Sergeant Rivera. Can you share a story or a time where you had to risk or step outside your comfort zone to achieve the success that you currently have?
I think in law enforcement, you're constantly stepping out of your comfort zone. There's a lot of situations that don't always know how to approach, and you try to do it gingerly sometimes and carefully, knowing that someone's depending on you. It's the definition of being brave. Sometimes you're scared as hell, but you have to press forward and get the job done despite being afraid. I've had to step out of my comfort zone several times. I'm a woman in law enforcement. Sometimes you're the only woman on a pistol range or in various situations, and you're bearing that weight, but I welcome it. I mean, even here today, I'm surprised to see so many men, and I'm grateful for that. There are a lot of men that stand behind women. There's some that don't, right? But things are changing, but I appreciate men that see a woman's worth and stand behind them. Men raising daughters, men that are here today to support us and see our value. Shout out to my coworkers also, and the people that I work with, the women in law enforcement, and the men that see us. Thank you.
And Sergeant Rivera, how do you think your work has impacted this community?
Well, I'd like to think that after 30 years, I've done, enough to change a few lives. I'm very proud to have served in this community. I can't think of a better job for me, and I feel very grateful and fortunate to have it. I'm currently working on something that I think is immensely important, and it's dealing with mental health. After the pandemic was when started to look at the numbers, particularly in this town, which were staggering. And we obtained a grant, and we work in collaboration with the Mental Health Association of Morris County. And we have actual social worker that works at our police department full time, who goes to mental health calls in real time as they're happening, along with the police officers in her own personal car. Not dressed in a uniform, kind of looking like this. And she goes on these calls and she brings health care to them. A lot of people who are in crisis aren't going to put their hand out to ask for help, and sometimes it has to come to them. So that's one of the things that I'm working on right now that I think is making a difference in our community. And if you guys know anybody who's struggling that might need a plan, and it doesn't have to be just related to mental health. They could be, on the street for whatever unfortunate reason. They could be going through issues with addiction. If you know anybody going through that, just look me up or call our department and inquire, because the help is there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Haley, we're going to ask you the same question. Can you share a story or a time where you had to risk or take a step outside your comfort zone to achieve what you currently have?
Sure. So I do want to echo what was mentioned as well about, of course, women supporting women, but men supporting women as well, men supporting each other. When it came to joining city council, it was totally new. So I appreciate the mayor and everybody who believed in me and saw that capability. I was actually doing more research about like women in leadership, whether it's on the government level or on the educational level. And most women who are in elected positions get that position if they're asked to be in it. So it shows you that we have a long way to go for us to feel our potential, for us to join on our own, but having men supporting us in that way does help. So I think getting into city council was something that, as mentioned before, I never would have thought I would get into politics. I've always liked to be a peacemaker and on my roads in school counseling, but I'm like, you know what? You can still remain true to your identity in a different path. So although it was super outside of my comfort zone, although, not everybody, while we did have people who did believe in me, of course there's going to be those who don't believe in you or still don't believe in you, but that's okay. Everybody's going to have their own opinion, and that's what makes us different. But I think now my challenge for this role is just continuing to advocate on the city level, continue advocating for my parents. And actually in May, the schools are working together to join with the community to do a community resource night, so that way we can share the wonderful things that our community does do in the recreation department and the YMCA department, so that way we can merge both of them together and give these parents and these students the resources that they need, whether it's mental health or different activities, so that way the knowledge gets out there and I'm able to combine the two worlds in one.
That's awesome. Thank you. And how do you think that work is going to impact Perth Amboy?
I think it's going to impact Perth Amboy because a lot of time our parents may not know that the different mental health services that are out there, whether it's Perform Care, the Passion Care Center, the Jewish Renaissance. So it'll impact mental health services, and even beyond what the school offers for sports, the recreation department has so much to offer. The PAL program has so much to offer. So I think having parents understand that and sharing these resources even more with the students will build students with stronger identity, will build parents with a support group, because now mental health we're breaking the stigma. So I think it's an important step in sharing the resources we have in our community, so that way our students feel supported and we can get them out there. Maybe they don't I never made the cheerleading team, although my mom was a cheerleader. I tried out 3 times. I'm like, all right, Ma, this isn't for me. So letting the students know, whether you don't make the cheerleading team, I had some students crying, they didn't make the baseball team in school, it's fine. It's cool, we have a recreation department where you're able to try out in that aspect as well. So I think building self-esteem, building self-confidence, and working together with the community, stakeholders, politicians, school board members, and parents is the main way to move forward, because if we see everything as a different branch, it's going to be hard for us to grow and support our students, support our youth, and support our families.
Thank you. So Megan, what lessons have you learned from your experiences that you believe are important to pass on to others?
Lessons that I've learned from my experiences, I would say just don't give up. That is a really big and recurring theme. I know that, these lovely ladies here have talked about times when they've been scared or times when they've been fearful, and it can be very, very fearful, especially when you do something outside of your comfort zone. It can make you feel as if you're not good enough. Like Haley just said, that a lot of women are asked to be a part of a campaign because a lot of women feel like they're not enough. Right? So we walk into spaces thinking that we're not enough. We're not as good as our counterparts, or we can't do what our counterparts can do, but we can do what our counterparts can do. We can actually do everything. I mean, women are great. We carry babies for 10 months and we raise children and we raise families and we do all of these things, and yet we still seem to doubt ourselves, and we still seem to think that there's something not good enough about us to do something else, right? So we should always just make sure that we try. There's no harm in trying, because if you're afraid you're gonna somebody's gonna tell you no, if you don't try, you're gonna get a no anyway. So you might as well try, you might get a yes, you never know what's gonna happen.
Thank you, Megan. And Betty, what lessons have you learned from your experiences that you believe are important to pass on to others?
I learned that I haven't been in the workforce for over 20-some years, and I'm listening to all these young ladies and all their experiences. So my life for the past 20 years is retirement, and I just volunteer. But I learned that I can see people that once they retire, their life just stops. But since I've retired, my life has been busy as when I was working, and I'm out almost every day doing something, and I just find that keeps me young, and I've grown so much. I've learned so much about Perth Amboy by being out there and volunteering on the different organizations. It's just fulfilled me. So I'm never bored, and I listen to these young ladies and I say, women are just doing wonderful things today, and there's no stopping us. And I'm so happy that they're here and they're being successful in their own fields. And it's just a great thing, because women are very strong. Believe that. Women are very strong, and whatever we put our minds to do, we can accomplish it. So I say to all the young ladies out there, just don't give up. just keep on pushing. And for the older people, once you retire, you can find something to do, and you'll still have a wonderful life. So I'm just grateful to be here, and I just thank everyone for selecting me today.
Thank you, Betty. So the last question will be for all of you, and we'll start with Sergeant Rivera. What do you hope your legacy will be in Perth Amboy?
So, long after this career is over, and maybe I'm looking back at everything I've done, I just want to be able to know that I left it all on the table, that I gave as much as I could of myself, and that I made my family proud, the people that love me, the people that know me, the people in town that depended on me, that believed in me. I just want to be able to see in them that, and it's okay to go, that you've done enough and you've served and you did exactly what you were supposed to do and what you were meant for. That's what I hope for.
Thank you. Solange, same question. What do you hope your legacy will be in Perth Amboy?
I guess for my legacy, ignoring self-doubt and ignoring doubt in general. Just like believing in what you can do and what you know that you can do. And, just pursuing your passion. Again, how I mentioned before, trying to be a full-time artist is not the easiest career. So it definitely takes, for you to be passionate about what you want, about what you want to do, to drive you to, I guess, like accomplish things and just kind of like, overcoming those obstacles. So definitely just believing in yourself and just ignoring self-doubt and just anyone who doubts, I guess, what you can do. And then, of course, like art-wise, I hope that I'm continuing to inspire those who want to become artists or who want to pursue art later on, and any young artists in town who, again, want to pursue art as a career. Because, of course, it's not the easiest path, but it's not impossible either. So definitely just like, again, believing in yourself and just ignoring doubt.
Thank you. Megan, what do you hope your legacy will be in Perth Amboy?
I hope my legacy would be that people know, they see me, they see my story, and they know that, that you can't, it's never too late, number one. Sometimes people think like, if I'm by 30, if I haven't done X, Y, and Z, then I'll never be able to do it. Or they pick an age, and you can be successful at any age, number one. And then the other thing is that I hope everybody knows that, or at least that the legacy that I leave is that I've left everything out on the table. That there's no stone that I didn't overturn, that there's no door that I didn't try to open or break down, and that I did everything that I could possibly do within my power to accomplish the goals that I wanted to accomplish.
Thank you. Betty, what do you hope your legacy will be in Perth Amboy?
I would just hope that everything that I do every day will help people to realize that it doesn't take a lot of money, it just takes a lot of effort, and we can make Perth Amboy one beautiful place, and that's my hope, that we'll continue to just improve our city and our community and get people to realize that you can sit back and do nothing, but if you want to make changes, you have to get out there and make an effort. So that's what I hope for.
Thank you. And Haley, what do you hope your legacy will be in Perth Amboy?
When it's all said and done, I think I just want people always remember how you make them feel. They might not remember the mistakes you make sometimes. As women, I know for me, I'm learning not to be a perfectionist, and but give everything you can with your job, but also give it with kindness, give it with love, give it with respect, Because at the end of the day, when it's years to come, people are going to remember, okay, she did what she did. She was passionate, of course. She was dedicated, but she was kind. She was loving. So I think always being true to that. And in every capacity, I just want to be able to inspire. I'll just give a short story really quick. I've been volunteering just a lot more with Renovation House. So I attend the church as much as I can. I went on stage, I gave a short story, and I spoke about my mom. And then afterwards, somebody who was struggling with addiction, they said, I'm on the route to almost finish, but I just want to make my mom proud, So they wanted that sense of making somebody proud, that sense of being kind. And at that moment, I didn't break down. I'm like, oh, you never know who you're inspiring. But then when I got home, I'm like, wow, just me speaking was able to inspire. So I want to be able to inspire those maybe struggling with addiction, because that does hit home, as I know many people in my personal life who are struggling with that. Or those in the school system, if you don't get accepted to your first college. I got denied 8 colleges, and the guidance counselors always crack up now because they see me and we work together, and they're able to say, oh, I remember how hard we worked just to get you into Kane. But just being resilient and knowing, be loving, be kind, be empathetic, and knowing that it's okay to fail as long as you get back up and you're resilient.
Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you for answering the question.
And once again, it's in honor of the 3rd Annual Women's History Month celebration, and to express our deep appreciation for the years of dedicated service to our beautiful city of Perth Amboy. Once again, we thank you, and we celebrate each and every one of you. The 5 of you are so dynamic, and me just hearing from each of you. Like I mentioned earlier, I know all 5 of you. I believe I got to know you a little bit more today. So continue doing the amazing job that you're doing, and continue inspiring our youth especially, right? And one thing I always say for our youth, get involved and stay involved. And that goes for everyone else. So once again, thank you everyone. God bless.
And to conclude our wonderful event, I wanted to have Vickiana Ortega, who is the treasurer of the board, close us out.
So I wanted to just highlight something really important, and I actually brought it up to Rosalie earlier. In case anybody didn't know, in 1974, the Equal Credit Opportunity Act granted single women the ability to apply for credit cards, own homes, and open banks, and that was only 50 years ago. So it is so complimentary to see women from our community making space, taking up space, achieving all these great things, and only 50 years ago, we weren't even allowed to have a bank account on our own. So it is so beautiful that, to see you here, to be honored in the way that you should for all your achievements. Thank you for joining us. Thank you all for being here to celebrate them, and please continue to join us year after year, because this is what women in Perth Amboy are doing, and it's beautiful. Thank you.
Just wanted to honor the rest of our board members that are in attendance. So Barbara Sorlaro and Loris Welch is also on our board. All wonderful women that I have such joy to serve with. And I just wanted to put some faces to the names that you guys have been hearing. So thank you again. Get home safely and try to stay dry. Thank you.